doing our Week 12 fantasy football ad drop show. It's hard to believe we have 6 more weeks left of the season. Where's the time gone? We're going to talk about some big topics tonight. We're going to review all the games from last week, do a Week 12 onward fantasy football draft, which I will sign up for right now. Before we get into everything, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. I found my November is Sloth Month t-shirt, which
nice.
my kids were both super excited about it. My daughter's like, what's that? And then and my son for some reason is like, who's in that suit? I'm like, it's just a sloth. What are you talking about? But yeah, November is Sloth Month. Sloth rights are human rights. Make sure you remember that. It's very important. You can get the shirt as well as anything else at the merch store. 20% off sale right now. You could change all these shirts to hoodie or a women's tank top or infant onesie, or if you're mentally deranged, you can go for a long sleeve t-shirt. We have our apron as well. We have our mugs. We have our baseball cap. You can go to Amazon, buy my books. The most recent one is Jerks of the College Years, where I made fun of people, lots of wacky characters you can see here. And my first book was The Safety and a Field Goal, which was a top 5 topics book about the NFL. Mostly serious stuff, but some fun stuff as well. Also, please consider super chats, super stickers. That's the best way to support the show. Kevin Kovac gave us like $100 in super chats or super stickers last week. Slew also helped us out a lot. Kevin Kovac's the man. So if you guys really want to help us out, that's really the way to do it, because YouTube ads pay nothing. It is Q4, so it's better than usual, but come January, it's going to be pretty abysmal as always, because Q1 sucks. But if you guys really want to help us out and keep the show going, that is the best way to do it. All right, we are joined by Kenny from thecapIsFake.com. Kenny was 2 new articles on the site. I actually read this one. Kenny just posted this one, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. Kenny, how's it going?
Bro, I'm living a dream. Just enjoying Florida winter. It was like 63 degrees today, so nice and chilly. It was had to break out the long sleeve t-shirt. I'm gonna have to get me a Walter Football long sleeve t-shirt. I'm gonna have to get me maybe Wrath Month or Lust Month long sleeve t-shirt. We'll see how that goes. What was that?
I was saying whichever you want. Like I was actually, I went to a health food store to pick up something for my wife. Of course, not for me, but for my wife. And the lady at the counter is like this, the small woman. She like laughed at one. I can't remember which Sin shirt I had on, and she was like, "Oh, that's so funny. I want a Sloth Month one." And so I was like, "Okay, I'll have to buy you. I have to order one for you and give it to you." So, nice. So what were you saying? Sorry about that.
Oh, that's it, man. And I had my first really bad week in fantasy that I've had really a couple months. Like I've had all 4 of my leagues I'm doing really well mostly, and I was 1-3 this past week though, so kind of a bummer, but it happens. I'm still three teams are still doing really well. One team started out 1-5, but I have roared back, and so I am now in that league. I'm now in the playoffs. So,
oh wow,
yeah.
I want to bring this. This is our league, by the way. I want to bring this up. So you're 7-3, 7-3-1. I'm 6-4-1. Not sure a way of ties here, but look at the points for Kenny 1206, me 1204.
Wow, right, look at that.
That's so close.
I didn't even notice. I'm the highest scoring team. I didn't notice. You're 2 points behind. That's so funny.
2 points behind. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of got spanked in this team. This team really peaked a couple weeks ago. I think a couple of the guys on this team are starting to slow down a little bit. I'm a little bit concerned about, Devontae Smith. Brian Thomas has been terrible. DJ Moore. I got the Charger. I got Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen. The Chargers offense looks rough right now. So yeah. I'm a little bit concerned about this team going forward.
Yeah, the lack of tackle play that the Chargers have just really rough. Only 6 points last week was brutal. You don't have. I was looking at your team. You don't have a quarterback. I don't know. Obviously, I'm sure you're trying to pick someone up, but we'll see what happens with waivers right now. But I mean, you still have some really good pieces: Bijan, Breece Hall, Devontae, Chris Olave should get going with Shuck. James Cook is awesome. So I still like your team a lot. Here's my team for those interested. I have Devon Achane on by the way, so you can see him right here. Also, Cortland Sutton. I have Drake May, Chase Brown, Travion Henderson, Rome Odunze, George Pickens, Christian Watson, Hunter Henry, Zach Charbonnet, Falcons defense, which I'll try to change, and then some backups and Achane on a bye. So, I like both of our teams. I think we can make a run and maybe meet each other in the championship or before.
You know, the funny thing is, you and I have we? I can't remember, have we ever played in the playoffs in this league?
We played once. I remember one time. I remember my team was like, it started like 3-6 or something, and I won a bunch. But like, it was like a team I was just like put together with like scotch tape and glue. It was like it was like ravaged by injury, and I somehow willed it to the playoffs. And then I played you, and you were like the 3 seed, and I was the 6 seed. And you destroyed me. It's like my dreams are ruined of making a run. But I remember that. That's like I think the only time we played each other in the playoffs.
I mean, we've been in this league together 20 years.
I know, it's crazy.
I feel like we've not. It's rarely that we're both really good at the same time. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's weird. Because usually either you have a dominant team or I have a dominant team. And if I have the dominant team, you don't have a good year, and then vice versa. Like for some reason, we're never good at the same time. But like it feels like we're the best teams here. So it's finally time to meet each other in the playoffs.
All right, maybe this could be a title match. Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Patrick says, is it finally Henderson and Harvey season, 12-team league, and odds of Stafford, Marks, Gadsden, Tracy might have making the playoffs at the rush start. Yeah, Patrick, I remember you saying you had the worst fantasy team ever, but man, like your team's coming together here. Henderson, some big games. Harvey is the starter now, although he has a bye. But yeah, Woody Marks is the starter now in Houston. We'll get to that. Stafford, awesome year, MVP caliber year. Tracy's getting work now. Cascada's out. Yeah, it looks like you could make a run there. That's pretty cool. So congrats on turning the season around. Yeah, what do you think about Patrick's team? Any shot of going the distance there?
I mean, it's always possible. I mean, Tracy, I wouldn't put a lot of stock in, but yeah, you never know. I mean, it looks like it. You know, I think Henderson is the biggest question mark, or not a question mark, but the biggest wild card, I guess, is the question. You know, from what we saw this past week, you know, is that a sign of things going forward, or was that a flash in the pan? Like that, that's going to make or break, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he is. Unfortunately, it's London too. He got hurt, so doesn't look like Lund's going to play. And even when he comes back, it's not going to be Penix. So, but Gadsden's been great. Dubs is hit or miss. So yeah, I mean, this team has something going for it. Chase Brown, when Joe Burrow comes back, if he comes back, he should really hit his ceiling. So the team looks pretty good. Patrick looks like you can make a run. We have this PPR 7-4 is PPR 2 receivers, 2 running back, 1 flex. Trade Sutton and Woody for Waddle. Running backs are Gibbs, Hendy, RJ, Woody, Tootin, Bolson, and receivers are CD, Ibuka, Sutton, Brian Thomas, and Alec Pierce. He's basically trying to upgrade Sutton to Waddle. I don't even know if that's much of an upgrade. I mean, I guess it's a slight upgrade, but I don't know if I trade 2 pieces for Waddle. Plus, Waddle's on a buy. Sutton is too.
I struggle every time someone asks. I feel like an idiot. Like it takes me like 5 minutes, like staring at this to figure out what the heck you're talking. Like, okay, who's going where? What? Like, it just there's so many players. I'm like, 12 teams, 7 PPR. Okay, 2 and 2. So you're giving away Sutton and Woody to get Waddle and Gibbs?
No. His running backs are Gibbs, Henderson, RJ.
Oh, got it. So he's just giving away Sutton and Woody to get Waddle.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Sutton and Woody.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Waddle's like a slight upgrade over Sutton, but like it's not worth trading Woody for, you know?
I wouldn't. Yeah. I don't feel like I'm not even sure he's a upgrade based on the Dolphins offense. I mean, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, and look at his running backs. Gibbs is awesome, obviously, but like it's Henderson and Harvey, and like Harvey was okay last week, not great. He didn't get all the carries, which is had to be frustrating for Harvey owners. And then Henderson, like you said, he's had some great performances recently. But what if Stevenson comes back? Like, what happens then? Is it 50-50? I can't imagine Henderson goes away, but
No.
he's not going to get all the carries anymore. I think Stevenson's still going to be alive for touches. So, if you trade Woody, then suddenly you have some shaky running backs. So that's why I wouldn't do it. So, I mean, it's always good to try to trade here, but I wouldn't do this one. Now, if Matt, the MicroStrategy could have some recovery as my fantasy team. Yeah, MicroStrategy's been pretty rough, but MicroStrategy sounds like it's going to be included in the S&P 500 in December. I don't know what date exactly in December, but it's definitely a binary event, so you can definitely buy calls on that and make a lot of money potentially. I'm actually I have puts on MSTZ, which is the 2x inverse of MicroStrategy, because those index funds of like they have them for every stock basically. They decay, and if you could buy puts on them, then you're actually going to benefit from the decay. So I that's something that I want to get into in a video of this summer. It's like I found like it's kind of a loophole. Like if you buy these 2x funds, if the price goes up, that's great. But if the price goes down, you're actually going to lose money compared to if you have the actual underlying stock. So I would recommend buying puts on the inverse of what you're trying to buy. So it's been really effective for me. A certain F team won. So as soon as a certain F team has won 3 of its last 4, strangely, they're still in Group F. Is this not an outrage, Kenny?
What team are you referring to?
The Dolphins. So Slew asked me last week why I still had Miami in Group F because they beat the Bills, and now they beat the Redskins when the Redskins like fumbled away the game twice.
Group F does feel a tad bit maybe. It feels like they should get a slight upgrade.
Well, okay, I can understand the argument because they won 3 of 4, but to me, they still have one of the worst defenses. They still have one of the worst offensive lines. They still have a quarterback who can't see over the line of scrimmage. They have one good downfield weapon. I love Achane, don't get me wrong. And Waddle's played great.
Awesome this week, man. Oh my goodness.
Achane's incredible. He's been carrying my fantasy team along with Drake May. And Waddle's played above expectations, and McDaniel can coach well sometimes, but sometimes he coaches like a crack addict and looks like a crack addict. But like I don't trust the team at all. I think this team's awful. And they've gotten lucky in their wins.
That Bills win was a legitimate win.
I actually called it before the week. I said the Bills would be primed for an upset because they just beat the Chiefs and they had a better team coming up, and they already beat the team that they already were going to play in Miami. And those games, Miami Buffalo games, are always close, like no matter what. Not always, but usually. So I actually thought that Miami would have a good chance to beat Buffalo. And then Miami rebounded the next week by they should have lost to Washington. If the guy doesn't muff the punt and late in the fourth quarter, the Redskins probably win that game. So I'm not ready to put them out of Group F.
Okay. I'd be willing to bump them up a little bit. But it's your rankings. Your system. So
if I bump them up to Group D, they're in the same group as the Browns, or who else is Group D? Like the Falcons, And I know they beat the Falcons. The Falcons were a no-show as well, but like the Browns beat the Dolphins 31-6. So are they in? Like I feel like Cleveland's much better than Miami. Maybe not much better, but like they definitely better than Miami because they have the far better defense. And they have the better offensive line. Just feels like they're the more complete team. They beat them 31-6. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, if they played 10 times, I that wouldn't happen 10 times though.
No, nothing would happen 10 times, 10 out of 10. But I think I mean, we saw Tua get benched. He was so bad he got benched in that game. That defense just really frustrated him. So I don't know. I just think Miami's one of the worst teams in the NFL, in my opinion. They're not as bad as Tennessee, which probably should have its own group. Group.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what it's. I guess I'd have to look at all your groupings to see how I would set it up.
Yeah, I get it. If I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins go back to their losing ways after the bye, but we'll see. If they keep winning games, I'll obviously move them out. But they really haven't done outside of the Buffalo game. They haven't really done anything. And like I said, they almost lost to Marcus Mariota and the Redskins. So Start one this week: Purdy, Brissett, or Trevor. Got Bo Nix on bye. Who's better rest of the season, Bo Nix or Purdy? I would say Purdy right now. I don't trust Bo Nix. He comes up clutch, but that you don't get points for clutch. So I would. I think I would start Purdy this week against the Panthers over a horrible defense. What do you think?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't love any of those options. I might have to start Trevor in our league actually because he's on the waiver wire and that might be the guy I might have to go with.
Oh man, that's rough.
Yeah, Purdy's probably the best bet.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. My bench is Vidal. Don't want to drop to Hampton, Monangai, White. Okay. Should I drop White and or Pollard for Emmanuel Wilson, Gainwell, Tootin, Knights? Wilson's worth a shot. The problem is Josh Jacobs may not miss any time. If Jacobs misses time, you definitely want Wilson. I think he's worth picking up for that reason. But don't blow a lot of your fab here and I said you should back on Sunday, but things have changed because now it sounds like Jacobs may not miss any time. So don't blow a lot of fab here because you may not get anything out of Wilson. But
I don't have any fab left in any league, so
yeah, I have a little bit left.
What was that?
I have a little bit left, so
I've got nothing left in my leagues that use fab. So
nice.
Pretty much not anything worth anything. I'm not a Gainwell fan. I don't know. I think this is an opportunity for Caleb Johnson to eventually get worked back into the lineup. I don't think either one of them are worth it. I don't think Toot is worth it, although he's also banged up. Knight sucks. I would not feel obligated to want to pick those guys up, although I wouldn't feel obligated to keep White or Pollard on my roster either at this point. So, are you ever going to start any of those guys? Is there a moment where you're going to feel confident to start either one of them? Probably not, right?
No, White and PPR maybe, but that's it. And Pollard, no way. So I'd rather have Wilson than Pollard for sure. Just on the off chance that Jacobs misses time. But otherwise, I'd rather not.
5 weeks ago, you say, you want to have. You could roster a guy like Pollard in case something happens.
Mm-hmm.
You could roster him at this point at this stage in the game. You're not going to start. There's nothing's going to happen to make you be confident in one of those guys.
Yeah, I agree. Start 2 this week: Wandale, Shakir, and Sticky Ricky. Might have Purdy if I win in waivers. Ricky did not do anything. Pearsall did not do anything last week, but he barely played. So I assume he's going to have a bigger role this week. The Giants really had nothing at receiver. So if this is PPR, I would say, Wandale or Shakir. But if this is not PPR, then I would say Shakir and just, I guess, take a shot on Pearsall because you're not going to get anything out of Wandale in standard leagues. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I just don't know if Pearsall's healthy. So it's hard to you can just look at you can get another big goose egg from him. Yeah, I think you're probably right in standard Wandale and Shakir in PPR. Or sorry, the other way around. In PPR, Wandale and Shakir. In standard, Shakir and Ricky Pearsall would be fine. But are you sure you don't have better options on the waiver wire? I'd almost wonder if there's someone you could throw a dart, kind of do a dart throw at.
Yeah. The number one kicker, Dicker, is on a bye. Is it worth holding on to him instead of drop? I don't want to drop a kicker. I'll have Pollard for a kicker, and I'll drop Pollard for a kicker and risk not getting those running backs. So the problem is Dicker. Sure, he's the number one kicker. Part of that is that he hasn't had a bye yet. So, average, total points is going to go down. Compared to the other guys. The other problem is that the Chargers offense is just going down the drain here. So I don't think he's necessarily going to keep being the number one kicker. So I would have no issues cutting him. Do you agree?
Yeah, I don't care.
Kickers is so there's such high variance to the kickers. You can't depend on them at all.
Yeah, if you have plenty of roster spots where it's hey, I got a bunch of bums and I'm just cutting anyway, and I got 3 empty roster spots and it doesn't matter. Okay, whatever. If you keep them, I guess. But I just, for me, my roster spots, I'm more and more. I just keep trying to hoard backups. So I've got Tank Bigsby and Brian Robinson on multiple teams, and I had Emmanuel Wilson and Sean Tucker. Like, I've been collecting these guys for this exact moment. So
Yeah.
I'd rather be collecting those guys at this stage than using a roster spot in a kicker.
Yeah, I agree. Since it's handcuff season, which three are the best? Quorum, Brian Robinson, Tootin, Stevenson, Emmanuel Wilson, Pacheco, Knight. Also, I have DJ Moore on bench. Is he droppable? Yes, absolutely. I think Quorum is the best one there. I still would say Robinson. Robinson's getting some carries, and McCaffrey's always an injury risk. So, he's second. I agree. And then I'd say Stevenson is third. Depends on when he comes back, and then I would say after that, probably Tootin, and then actually Pacheco. But I don't know when Pacheco's coming back. But I'd say Pacheco, then Tootin, then Wilson, then Knight. Actually Knight, then Wilson. Depends on Jacobs. What do you think?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, Quorum, Robinson, Stevenson. That's probably the top three. Knight and Tootin, I'm not going to go out of my way for. Pacheco and Wilson. Pacheco's a better player. Wilson may get more volume, because of the situation. I think I go Quorum, Robinson, Stevenson as the top three.
Okay. Should I drop Dak or Jones? Daniel Jones, I assume. Or no. I don't know. Or drop one of my handcuff of Quorum, Robinson, or Algier. Need to pick a receiver. I don't know if the same league as Pollard, but you drop Pollard. But if it's not, it's so hard to keep two quarterbacks. I would try to trade one of the quarterbacks. And then if you really need a roster spot, then I guess of all those players, I'd say Brian Robinson is the guy you cut. What do you think?
Drop Dak or Jones and drop one of my handcuffs. Need to pick up wide receiver. Man, I would not want to drop Algier or Quorum.
No.
Because I'm so confident in those guys. Robinson's like a good handcuff, like if McCaffrey goes down, but I'm less confident in his ability to produce than Algier and Quorum if they were to become the number one guys.
Yeah, 100%.
I'd much rather be dropping a quarterback.
Yeah. I think you could trade one of the quarterbacks too. So
both those guys trade deadline, I imagine, though, aren't you?
Yeah, that's true.
Most
leagues. For me, it's Robinson. But if you want to drop one of the quarterbacks, that's definitely okay. Start two this week: Godwin, Mooney, Shepard, Yusevich, Iron Manor, Coker, Leggett, Tillman, Judy, or any Jets receivers. No. Yes, I know they're all gross. Yes, they are gross. Godwin may not play. Mooney is he's pretty bad. Shepard.
Skevich is the guy that you want to, I think, probably on this mix that I want him to have in there.
Right. Yeah, because Chase is out. So Yushevitz, and then I would say, I guess the Browns are trying to get the ball to Judy more. The problem is that Jador Sanders is starting. So that's so bad. I don't know if you want to take a shot with John Mechie with the Jets receiver. I don't know. It's so bad. It's I don't know. I guess Mooney and Yoshivas. That's what I'd go with. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the highest floor is Mooney in a PPR, and Yushevitz. I think those guys have the highest floor of this bunch. If you're just looking for floor, I think that's the best bet.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, I'm starting to sweat my Miami under 7.5 and under an 8.5 win bets. Yeah, a little bit. I'm not too concerned. You can always hedge it out too. We're in a nice position to hedge. Even Evan was saying that you can go back and bet the over 6.5 and try the middle, which I think is a good strategy. Needed tight end, standard, Barner, Hill, Wright, Njoku, Tungus, Schultz, Taylor, Strange, Fant, Likely, Higbee, Knox, Fireman, Chiggy, Mayer, Hawkinson. Man, that's a lot.
Who's Wright? Wright is
it's Brock Wright for the Lions. Barner looked
really. Laporta's still out, right.
Yeah. Barner looked pretty decent. He's had some really good games, but then he had some duds, so he's very consistent. Schultz, I think Schultz has a tough matchup this week though. Like he's probably the best out of all these guys, I think, or maybe Hawkinson, but I I actually think it's one of them or Barner. I would say Barner, Schultz, or Hawkinson. Um, Unless I'm like just missing someone. Brenton Strange is interesting too. It depends if he comes off IR. We don't know that yet, but with all the injuries the Jaguars have at receiver, Strange could have a good game. But really, we don't know if he's 100%. So I would say Barner, Schultz, or Hawkinson. And Schultz has a tough matchup this week, so maybe not him. Barner has a very easy matchup, and Hawkinson is pretty middling. So I think I'd take a shot with Barner. But yeah, like I said, he's super consistent. He could catch 10 passes, he can catch 0. Like that's how it's gone for him this year. What do you think? Anything stand out?
I think I'll go Schultz here. I just think he's the safest of the bunch to get targets.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it depends. I guess this goes back to I do this all the time is my cop-out answer. If you're looking for high floor, I think Schultz is the highest floor of the bunch. Like, yep. I think he's guaranteed to get some targets. If you're looking for upside, though, like Barner or even Taysom Hill has better upside. But, like, you could get, it's like 70% chance you're going to get a goose egg, right? But you could also get 2 touchdown passes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's sort of kind of what you're looking for.
Yeah. I'm always, it really depends on how the rest of your roster looks. So, thoughts on Daniel Jones as a backup to Drake May rest of the season? Well, I'm usually not one to carry backup quarterbacks. You're gonna need a second quarterback in week 14 because that's Drake May's bye week. So Daniel Jones could be good then. I have to see what's the Colts schedule. They in week 14 they play the Jaguars. Looks like the Jaguars. So that could be a good second quarterback to have just in case you're looking ahead for the bye week. But other than that, like once the bye week's over, you can just cut Daniel Jones. You don't need a second quarterback.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. We're still waiting for this draft to load so we can get into the games here. We have 8 of 12. All right. So we begin on the Thursday night. The Patriots 27, Jets 14. Justin Fields. I don't think he was he was not good in this game, but I don't think he was bad enough to get benched, especially after 2 wins in a row. It's kind of weird that they chose to do it now. He rushed for a touchdown. He did Justin Field things like he made bad throws, but he ran. That's like basically him in a nutshell. It's like Tyrod Taylor's not going to be better than this. John Mechie, a former Eagle, touchdown, probably won someone $100,000 or whatever the prize was in DraftKings. For the Patriots, Drake May, another great game. Henderson had scored 3 touchdowns. Diggs, 9 for 105 was awesome. I was expecting more of him. Matt Hollins, though, 4 for 64, but he had 10 targets in the previous game. He only had 5 here. But this is all Diggs, Henderson, and May. So, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just said it. It's May, Henderson, Diggs, and really nothing else. There's no one else in this team. I don't care what Mac Hollins does. Him and his weird backpack. I don't care what any of these guys do. Like they're not. The Henderson question is he had some he looked awesome in some moments, and then there were other one of the touchdowns just the Jets kind of just gave up. Like I don't know. So it's hard to know for sure. Is this going to continue? Is this going to be the breakout that finally we've been taught? Was told about since July. Maybe this is it. If you own him, you're starting him. I think at this point you own him, you're starting him. And you just hope that it continues. It's unlikely. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it's unlikely that you own him, drafted him, where you had the drafting to get him, and that you got a ton of better options, right?
Right.
So yeah, and you just hope it goes forward. I got to be honest, I'm not confident, but I don't own him at all, so it doesn't matter. I don't own him in any leagues, so it doesn't matter what I think. I don't have to make the tough. I don't have to ride with it. On the Jet side. Oh, yikes. As someone who owns Breece Hall in 4 leagues, I don't know what to make with Tyrod Taylor. I don't know if he's going to be better. I don't know if he's better for the offense. This team sucks. Don't start anyone on this team unless you have Breece Hall. And even, in most of the leagues, I'm still starting them, but I'm considering whether or not I got other options. So. In our league, I don't think he's been my flex most weeks. I I'm thinking about DJ Moore over him, honestly, in the flex spot right now. I'm very concerned about this offense going forward. It looks like they're totally checked out.
Yeah, I don't mind Mason Taylor. It's like a second tight end in best ball. If you're drafting now, still like 15th round, it's fine. Outside of that, you're right. Like there's really not much to like here, and like you could have always drafted Fields as your second or third quarterback, but now Fields is benched, so it's just this seems a bunch of nothing. With Taylor, I think Taylor is a higher floor than Fields, but a much lower ceiling. So I don't quite understand what the Jets are doing here. Like Taylor is a million years old. You might as well keep seeing what you have in Fields. Like obviously you're going to draft a quarterback, but I don't know. Like what's the point? I don't get it. Like what's the point of going to Taylor? Like you're not making the playoffs. Just go with the young guy. I don't know. Kevin Kovac, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate it, Kevin. Thank you so much once again. He says any merit in 14/16 team formats holding on to high second quarterback if you can roster it, preventing other teams from having a quality starter playoffs. Yeah, in deeper leagues like that, yes, I think so. Because and what if your quarterback goes down? Suddenly you're going to need a backup. So I'm on board with this. With 12 teams, I would say no, but 14, 16 teams would say yes. What do you think?
Yeah, 14 teams, 6 a totally different animal.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's so hard to just fill these rosters. If 16 teams, if everyone has 2 quarterbacks, that's the entire starting line of starting quarterbacks for every team. So, and then Cassandra says Jets need someone who can throw the ball so they can see if they have anything with the various receivers on the roster. So they're benching Fields who can't throw. Yeah, that's fair, but like it's true. Taylor can't really throw downfield though. You know what I mean? Like. It's like Taylor's gonna be accurate in the intermediate, so yeah, I guess that makes sense. I don't know. It just feels like you're gonna bench a guy who's won two of the last 3 games and like wasn't awful in this game. It's just seems like odd timing. Anyway, let's get to the next game, which was our final, thankfully, the final European game. It was in Spain, not like it matters. The Dolphins were up 16-13. They beat they beat the Redskins, but as we said before, the Redskins fumbled this game away. They were getting the ball, they're getting possession like near midfield, and then the guy muffed the punt, and the Dolphins had a chance to win. And they actually did not score, so this game went to overtime, and then Mariota throws an interception. So that's how Miami got its 4th win of the year. You said it. Achane was awesome. Waddle, not a great game. He only caught 3 passes, but still was the leading receiver. And really nothing else outside of like some Malik Washington for the Dolphins. For the Redskins, let's pour one out for Corey Krosky Merritt fantasy owners. They saw their running back get out-carried 15-9 by Chris Rodriguez. Deebo Samuel is the only bright spot here, 7 for 74 and a touchdown. So at least he's healthy, but not like it matters. His team is going nowhere. Any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, it's even worse than that with JCM. He got 9 carries, but he got 5 of those were like late in the 4th quarter. Mm-hmm. Like when like the game didn't matter by that point. So yeah, it's even worse than it looks like. Not that Chris Rodriguez is good. Deebo is good. You can still start him with decent confidence as a low end wide receiver. Zach Ertz, if you need tight end, he's okay. Low end wide receiver 1. Tight end is a dumpster fire. So whatever. If you're desperate for running back, you could do worse than Rodriguez. I wouldn't like be excited to start him, but if you're desperate for some reason, he's okay. That's awesome.
Anyone who's listening is not watching. Did they use Rodriguez because of Spain? Maybe I would count it out.
Devon Achane was awesome. There's one play where they throw like a swing pattern. He's basically like almost any other running back would be tackled for like a 4 or 5 yard loss. He like does this like dance move and like gets jiggy with it, and it turns into like a 9 yard gain. You're just like, dude, that guy's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like he's just so good. If he was on a real team, like how much better would he be? I mean, just yeah. So he's really good. He's better than I thought coming into the year. I don't own him in any leagues because I was just nervous about him holding up size wise. But he's turned out to be fine. And any of the receivers at this point, I I don't own any of these guys, so easy for me to say, but I don't think I want to start them. If you've got Jalen Waddle, like you probably have better options, man. Like Jalen Waddle, just this team's offense is it's Devon Achane, it's nothing else. They were balanced this week. They were okay. Like they looked decent, but they're just not good enough to be I don't think they're bad enough to be in the F category at Walters put them in, but they're not good enough to be anything more than a D- category. So that's not exactly the type of team you want to be relying upon for fantasy. If you own Waddle, unless you got zero options, I'd be thinking twice about using him.
Yeah, which kind of reinforces our point with that answers to that question. Like, should the guy trade Sutton and Marks for Waddle? We both said no. Which I think Sutton and Waddle are super close anyway. So like, why just give up Marks? All right, next game is we get to the 1:00 games, and man, Jaguars 35, Chargers 6. That's a poor one out for Jacory Krosky Merit owners. Poor one out for anyone who had the Chargers in the future. This team just looks dead without Joe Alt and without Rashawn Slater, and they're also missing their third tackle too. Herbert 10 of 18, 81 interception. I don't know if you saw this game, but he took one of the worst hits I've ever seen on a quarterback right before halftime.
Yeah, they benched him for a moment, didn't they?
Yeah. Trey Lance is warming up. And I thought he was done. I thought he was gonna be out for 2 weeks. And yet he came back, but man, he was awful in the second half. He threw a horrible interception. It just didn't look right. I guess it's a good time for a bye week, so maybe Jim Harbaugh can figure something out with that offensive line. But they actually put in Trevor Penning, who they traded for the Saints. It was like the final trade that happened on the trade deadline. And Penning looked like a turnstile. He was like even worse than the other guys. So, man, I don't even know what the Chargers could do here. Quentin Johnson didn't catch a single pass. McConkey 3 for 13. Allen was the best guy here, but like you can't count on him. So, I know you have a couple of Chargers on your fantasy team, so I'm kind of interested to hear your thoughts on that. But like, it seems like a disaster here. The Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence was not good. He made a couple decent throws, but like overall, he was just bad once again. But he was buoyed by the running game. Tootin 15 for 74, ATN 19 for 73. They really carried. They won the game for the Jaguars here. Although Jacoby Myers clutch on third down. 5 for 64. He made some nice third down receptions, but that was it. So any thoughts on this game in addition to the Charger stuff?
Jaguars first. Lawrence. I'm officially officially stating like the obvious. He's not the quarterback that people thought he was.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Jags, they're not good. I don't want any part of this offense. Honestly, if I could do without it, because I don't trust them. I don't trust the receiving core. Unless you're desperate, I don't want any of these guys, because I think you can get a goose egg at any time. Trevor Lawrence might have to be my starting quarterback this week in our league, because there's not a lot of options on the waiver wire, and I've got Justin Herbert going into a bye, and so I'm gonna have to deal with that. If you've got Tootin and Etienne, they were decent in this game. They were fine. I think this is part of the game flow. The game script kind of just like fell in their lap, right? So I don't know that I would expect both of these guys to put up decent points week to week, week after week. But on the Chargers side, oh yikes, man! I own Herbert in 3 of my 4 leagues. He's my quarterback. I own Keenan Allen in 2 leagues. I own Vidal in 1 league. I have Quentin Johnson in 2 leagues. I have McConkey in 1 league. I have a lot of Chargers, and it's a mess. And right now they're not startable. I don't think anyone in this offense is startable. Obviously not this week because they're on bye. Don't start those guys. But when they come back, I don't know that you can trust any of these guys right now in your starting lineup. Until we see this offensive line. Justin Herbert had a pressure rate this week of 50%.
It's crazy.
It's the highest of any game against any. It was the highest against any team in 2 years. You can't play football from your back. Like, it just doesn't work. And so I have you. I don't know that I've ever seen a team lose an offensive lineman and the lineman get that bad that quickly. It seems almost unreal that it would go this downhill so quickly. So I don't know what to make of it. I don't think any of them are startable. I think that's the takeaway from a guy. I own a lot of them, so I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. I think you can play Gatson if you need a tight end. Even that's not too exciting.
No,
it's not. So yeah, this is really rough. And yeah, it's it's Joe Alt, but it's also it's Rashawn Slater and Bobby Hart. Like they're down their top 3 tackles. At least like when they get Bobby Hart back, at least there's something there. But like he's not that great. I'll say this: the Chargers after their bye, they play the Raiders, and then a couple of hard games, and then they play the Cowboys. So you're gonna have 2 easier games in the next 4. However, it doesn't mean they're going to do anything because the Jacksonville's defense is 21st in EPA. So it's not like this is like a top 10 defense they're going against. It's not even top 20. So like think about how bad that is. So it's really tough. Kenny, Walt, and I tried to tell you last week about San Diego's. I like San Diego receivers, offense without Alt, but nope, you have none of it. No, but
I said I thought the whole offense was going to struggle. I said that.
Yeah, I think because I was saying that my point was that McConkey was safer than Quentin Johnston. Like that was my whole point. But in this game, neither did anything. So
yeah,
it's like I guess McConkey did better. He had 1.3 fantasy points in standard as opposed to 0. In PPR it was 4.3, but like I don't know, it's really weak.
All of Johnston's targets were not even good. Like they were not viable targets. Like he's under pressure. He's just throwing the ball in the direction, and the stat guy in the box is just okay. That was the closest receiver, so I'm counting it as a target. Like, but not really a. There's never a point in this game where Johnson had a legitimate chance to make a difference, and McConkey's receptions were terrible. They're all like just dump offs to the, they weren't legitimate either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, nothing here was legitimate. But yeah, Raiders and Cowboys games should be better than this. But outside of that, they have the Chiefs. Or I guess Chiefs are 18th, but they have the Eagles. Then they have the Texans in the second round of the playoffs. So, man, imagine this offensive line against Houston's defensive line. That's going to be a disaster. Same with the Eagles. The Eagles are just going to destroy this team. Anyway, let's move on to Panthers 30, Falcons 27. Falcons look great in the first half. They were up 21-10, and then things fell apart. Penix was having a great game, 13-16, 175. Drake London had 100 yards in the first half. Bijan had 100 yards from scrimmage in the first half. And then Penix gets hurt, and Kirk Cousins comes in, and then Drake London gets hurt, and they have no one else at receiver, and this team just collapses. And the Panthers come back, and you have to give credit here because Bryce Young, he made some great throws in this game, but then like the second you want to praise him, be like, oh, here comes Bryce Young, he's going to finally live up to his expectations. You think back to just 1 week ago, when he scored 7 points against the Saints. So let's not get too excited here. Ricky Doodle was a disappointment. He's the only Panther to disappoint, 19-45 against a very bad Atlanta run defense. But McMillan is making me sweat because I have an Emeka Ibuka 40-1 offensive rookie of the year ticket. And McMillan might be coming on here with this massive game. If he has a couple more of these, luckily he has a bye coming up, but if he has a couple more of these, then I don't know, it could be screwed here. So I think I'm going to hedge my ticket with McMillan. But anyway, what do you think about this game?
This was Bryce Young's best game as a pro. And it wasn't just the numbers. It was legitimate. It wasn't empty stats, empty calories. He looked really good. He looked like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I'm just like, I don't know who this guy is because this guy has sucked for, most of the year. Ricky Doodle actually had a really nice run down the edge. He said he stepped out. It was really close.
Yeah, I didn't think he stepped out. I didn't.
Yeah, it was really, really close. I was surprised that they called it back, but that would have been another 10 yards and a touchdown. That would have changed the stat line, obviously, for the day. It would have looked very good. So I don't think I don't think Rico Dowdle is actually a good player, but he's playing well right now, and you keep riding him. If you got him, he's probably worth starting most weeks. Yeah, the rest of this receiving core actually was terrible. Like, they're not good except McMillan. It was just like, you watch this team play, you're like, these guys are not that good. Like, I'm not chasing Xavier Legette. Don't chase Tremble. He had one catch, and the Falcons just like forgot how to tackle in overtime. Coker's not good. Like, he just like, it was like fluky, wide open, like a defender fell down. Like, none of these guys are good. So like, I would not trust any of these guys in a starting lineup. I wouldn't trust Bryce Young either. Like, he just had the best game of his career. He looked awesome. But do I trust he's going to do this again next week? 0%. Like, I have no trust. I have no trust that this guy can do it again. No, if he does it again next week, okay, now we have a conversation. But let's do it twice in a row, like, before we have any trust. So the only guy on this team that I'm trusting with any confidence is McMillan, honestly. And then Dowdle, I'm willing to start, but I'm not super confident. And if you have Dowdle on a team, you probably pick them up late, and you probably have other options. And so I just want to say it's okay to use other options. If you've got them. On the Falcons side, oh yikes! This receiving core, Mooney, I guess, is going to be a decent play with London out, but I drafted London in one of my leagues, and I just traded for him actually in a league, so that's exciting. Just went out of my way to get him. So that's exciting. Yeah, I don't even know that I love Mooney unless you're really, really like got no other options. I don't want Kyle Pitts. He sucks. Like, just he's terrible. Cousins looked terrible in this game. I was going to say Kyle Cousins. That's his brother. Kirk Cousins. Bijan Robinson is awesome. Thank the Lord that they finally actually gave him the ball in the red zone. They had one of their early drives. They gave him the ball down inside the 5, and then it looked like they were going to pull him out and have Algier come in. I'm like, no, I've got Bijan and they were like, they're like, no. Then he kept them in, and he scored a touchdown. So anyway, he scored 2 of their 3 rushing touchdowns. Algier scored 1. You're starting Robinson. If you have Algier, he's got standalone value if you're desperate for a flex. And if for some reason Algier is available in your league, he's only owned in like 64% of like Yahoo leagues. I think I saw something like that, or 68%. I was like, why the heck is he not owned? And like, own Algier. So
yeah,
God forbid Robinson goes down. Algier would be a beast.
Well, our draft's on their way, and someone took Trey McBride, number 1 overall. I say this all the time. I love doing these drafts at night. You never see this during the day. You get some maniacs coming out at night and making weird picks. I love it. I love it so much. I wish we had the 3rd pick because we could have gotten Taylor. How's Taylor go 103? He's had his bye already. It's not like you can say, oh, he hasn't had his bye. He is now one of the bye guys, so you could take him. Like, what is happening here? Like, even Bijan over Taylor is kind of crazy, especially with no Falcons quarterback. I don't understand. What are these people smoking or drinking? I don't know. I think we take Jackson Smith and Jigba, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. McCaffrey's has not had his bye. And by the way, this is a 3-week season. So if you take a guy who hasn't had his bye yet, he misses a third of the season, which I think was 4 2/3 games in regular fantasy. So you just
look at it's good math. Good math on your part. Well done.
It's essential. Come on, our reunion's coming up, which you're not going to. I actually don't know if I'm going either. We'll see. Kenny, top of your head, look into the crystal ball. What do you think the Super Bowl matchup will be?
Okay, am I using my head or my heart here?
Why not both? Do your head and then your heart.
If I were a gambling man, which I am not these days, if you put a gun in my head, maybe you bet $1. I would be betting on I still believe the Chiefs are going to pull one out of the rear. I'm going to say Rams Chiefs. That's okay. That's what I'd be willing to bet on right now.
That's your head. But what about your heart?
My heart says Eagles Broncos.
Broncos. Okay. Interesting.
Because I think the Eagles would pummel them. Would totally annihilate them. Yeah, and having the Super Bowl over by halftime was just one of the most fun experiences of my life. I'd love to see that again.
Again, no sweat, right? It's relaxing. Actually, I had a sweat because I had like plus 18 and a half or something like that, and they got close. They're like not close enough for some. Oh no, you know what it was? I had what do you remember what the final score of that game was? I'm sure you do.
40-22.
40-22. I had over 40 and a half points for the Eagles. And I was really sweating that one out. So that did not happen, unfortunately, for me. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll get it on the way back. Let's get real fast in this game. You're talking about Bryce Young. He plays the Niners next week. So we'll see what Saleh has in store for him. And I like that you call it Rico Doodle Ricky Doodle. I actually like that better. It rolls off the tongue better. So I think I'm going to
just making up names. Just making up names now. I'm sorry.
I think I'm going to involve it to Ricky Doodle from now on because it sounds so much better. But yeah, I mean, what you said is absolutely right. Like it's so hard to trust. Like you can't trust Mooney. Pitts has. I keep saying this. Pitts has a great matchup in the playoffs, fantasy playoffs against the Buccaneers. So if you're drafting best ball, try to take Pitts as one of your tight ends because if you make the playoffs, you're going to have a great game against Tampa. You for some reason he always dominates Tampa and doesn't play well at any other time. It's just I don't know. I mean, if you look at his past 3 games against the Buccaneers, like they're just monster games for some reason. I don't know why. And it's not like the Buccaneers ever even that bad against tight ends this year. They just can't do anything about Pitts. So although with Kirk Cousins there, maybe that changes. So I'm gonna be up in 1 pick. Let me see. I'm gonna get here. Henderson unfortunately has not had his bye. There's a Buka. So let's go running backs. I'm gonna star. I don't know about Jacobs now. I don't know what to do with him. It's gonna start Buka, Collins, Adams, Pickens. So I think we're gonna take one of those guys. I'm up on the clock. I like so many receivers. So just take should I take Genty and then maybe get one of the receivers? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens the way back. But anyway, let's
see. That offense. Speaking of terrible offenses, gosh.
I know, but you know what he's doing now? Like he had 7 rushing yards. He's still at 9.4 fantasy points. Not that that's good, but he's catching passes. Look at this: 6, 3, 5. Like ever since the bye, they have made like a concerted effort to get him the ball in the passing game. So, whereas before it was like 1, 2. There was a 5, but 2, 0, 3, 2. He's definitely catching more passes than before. So, that's at least something. And this is PPR, so obviously that means a lot. Anyway, so Jamar Chase, Chase has had his bye, but he's suspended, so he basically has a bye coming up. So anyway, speaking of Jamar Chase, we're on this game. The Steelers beat the Bengals 34-12. Jamar Chase spit in someone's face, and now he's suspended 1 game. If you haven't heard,
an idiot.
I know. Flacco, who had played well, heading into this game, he just suddenly collapsed. Maybe it's because he's 40 and his body's breaking down. Could be
whoa. Be kind to the 40+ crowd.
Dude, we're both 43. Look, I feel like my body's breaking down. I sprained my ankle 10 days ago. My back is bad. I was at a kid's birthday party on Saturday for 5 hours. It was at a water park. And
it sounds awful.
Well, it was fun. And my son kept sliding down the slides. He was having the time of his life, and I kept going down after him because he was scared to go on his own. He's only 3, and so I had fun. I had fun with him. Some of the parents, they were nice. I don't get to talk to adults too much these days, so I did enjoy that. But my body paid the price. Like I was so sore afterward. My back was on fire. Like being old sucks. So look, I'm gonna take Devontae Adams here. So I can at least I can understand Flacco's issues here with being a 40-year-old, his body breaking down, and like he's gotten worse and worse every week. He started off great. I think he peaked at the Steelers game, the first one on Thursday night, and ever since then he's been worse. So I think this is a downward trend, especially with Chase out. So anyway, we talked about Yoshivas maybe this week with Chase out. I guess he's a decent option. For the Steelers, Rodgers got hurt. Speaking of old quarterbacks, Rodgers, he hurt his hand or something. We don't know his status yet. It could be Mason Rudolph. Rudolph was actually better than Rodgers. As someone who bet the Bengals, I was very upset that Rudolph was playing better than Rodgers because I was counting on Rodgers sucking. Jalen Warren got banged up. They don't know if he's going to play next week. They said they're optimistic, but that doesn't mean anything. So Gainwell could have a decent game if Jalen Warren is out. And then Metcalf 5 for 49, pretty mediocre, but he's hit or miss sometimes. And Darnell Washington had some crazy highlights, like a 300-pound tight end, just like rumbling down the field. So any thoughts on this game?
On the Steelers side, Jalen Warren, if he's banged up, obviously we're not going to start him. I don't think there's anyone on the Pittsburgh Steelers roster that I'm going to be starting in a lineup this week. I don't think there's anyone I want. I don't think I own any Steelers actually in any lineup. I don't think about it. I don't think so. I mean, I've been the biggest Jalen Warren fan for like 5 years, and I can't believe I don't own him anywhere. It's kind of crazy. But if I did own him, I'd be willing to sit him, and until I know for sure he's healthy. Kenny Gainwell just feels fugazi to me. Feels fake. I don't trust it. And Mason Rudolph actually looked like a human rather than like a mushroom. Look like Toad usually. What's from Super Mario Brothers? What's his name? Toad, right?
Yeah, Toad. Yeah.
That's what Mason Rudolph reminds me of. That guy. On the Bengals side, Joe Flacco, come back to earth. Yeah, I don't think I want Joe Flacco in my lineup at this point. Obviously, the only guy I really trust on that team is are T. Higgins and Chase Brown. If you're desperate, you can go with Iskevich for a week if you're desperate for a receiver. But I wouldn't be so super excited about that. If you have other options, I'd go elsewhere. But yeah, it's Higgins and Chase Brown and nothing else.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna have to be up. I have ATN available here. He's like the earliest draft player. So I think would you take ATN? My options are Swift, Devontae Smith, and Zay Flowers.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I hate taking him hurts my soul. Yeah, he's been good. He's been good.
Yeah. So two running backs, 2 receivers to start. And we can head into the next game, which was Packers 27, Giants 20. Kenny, if you still had your should have been interceptions here, I would ask you how many Winston had, because I lost count. He had quite a few should have been interceptions. He only had one at the end. But he did. It was weird. He either had dropped interceptions or he would convert 3rd and 12s. There's no in between with him. Tracy and Singletary combined for 35 carries, which is kind of crazy for a team that lost the game. And their leading receiver was Isaiah Hodgins, who they just signed. So this is just I don't know how the Packers didn't cover the spread. Just unbelievable. Jacobs got hurt, though. That's part of it. I expected Jacobs to have a monster game against this horrible Giants run defense, and he couldn't because he was injured. Jordan Love left for a series. Malik Willis scored a touchdown drive. Willis looked good once again. And then Romeo Doubs led the team in receiving, but he had 2 horrible drops. Christian Watson scored 2 touchdowns, so he looks like the best receiver here. What are your thoughts on this game?
The receiving core on the Packers is still I don't know who's going to be the good one any given week. Watson, I guess, is the best option, but I don't know that I'm excited to start him. Those touchdowns both kind of came across just fluky set of circumstances that don't feel repeatable. This offense doesn't feel good. They feel like they struggle to sustain drives. And now with Jacobs banged up or out, I feel like it's even more so. If you're desperate for running backs, Wilson's a fine start. He'll get the volume if Jacobs is out, but I'm not super excited about him. So yeah, if I can avoid any Packers players, I'm probably avoiding them if I can. On the Giants side, Jameis Winston, man, he is the gift that keeps on giving. And he just, he has this thing we call elite blindness. He's playing terrible and they're losing. And then they kind of they crawl back in the game and they're driving late in the game. And it looks like they've got a chance to maybe come down and tie the game with a minute and a half to go. And he throws the ball, and as soon as he lets it go, you just look, you go, where the heck is he looking? He throws the ball right into the hands of a Packers defender in the end zone. Game's over. What are you looking at? There are moments I just go, this guy looks legitimately good sometimes, and then there are other moments where you just go, like, is he colorblind and can't see the uniforms? Like, I'm not kidding. Like, if it came out tomorrow, they're like, oh, Jameis Winston actually has 20, 400 vision, so he can't see more than 3 yards down the field. I'd be like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that perfectly explains what we've been observing in this guy for anyway. So yeah, don't start him. You don't want any of the receivers on this team, and I don't know that I want the running backs because I don't know what to expect of them. I don't expect this kind of volume in the coming weeks. And it looks like Devin Singletary is clearly the red zone running back. Like Tracy got 0 carries down by the goal line. They had, I think 4 or 5 running plays down in the red zone. All of them were Singletary, and Singletary scored 2 touchdowns. So even though Tracy got more carries and got more yards, he's not getting any of the red zone looks. Like, I don't know. That's not exciting. It's not a functional passing game. You don't have a running back that's actually being trusted in the red zone that looks like it's going to get to be, so I don't know. I don't know that there's anyone in the Giants you want to be starting right now, even though the numbers look good. I don't know that I want to be starting anyone really on any one of these teams, even though the numbers could look appetizing to some extent.
Yeah, I don't mind Watson. I mean, he has a high ceiling. I guess it's more best ball.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, we have to wait on Wilson with the Jacob status. Unfortunately, it's Tuesday night and we still don't know, which is when waiver wires go through. So, yeah, like I said before, I wouldn't go crazy with the fab just because you may not get anything out of Wilson. If it was announced suddenly that Jacobs is out, then I would just ship all the fab that you have left and try to get Wilson. But that is not an option, unfortunately, because we don't know. And I'm about to be up in one pick. Actually, I'm up now. Woody Marks is available. I'm going to start him. I already see that. There's Kenneth Walker, too, who finally scored a touchdown in Montgomery. Some good running backs left. Marks, who would you rather have between Marks, Walker, and Montgomery? I think
I'd like Montgomery, but
Montgomery, okay.
That's my favorite.
All right, I'll take Montgomery then. Okay, all right, let's get to the next game, which is Texans 16, Titans 13. Davis Mills took some horrible sacks in this game. Ruined a potential field goal, ruined a goal line chance. Woody Marks couldn't find any room. Woody Marks is pretty underwhelming. But I guess the positive is that he outcarried Chubb 18-3. Nico Collins still had a great game despite the Davis Mills. And it looks like Jaden Higgins is coming on, like 4 for 55. Like he seems to be getting more involved each week. So maybe that'll evolve into something with Titans. Another game where like no one stands out. Calvin Ridley came back from injury and got hurt instantly, like right after that. So it's it's unfortunate for him. But yet nothing like I don't want to own any Titans at all. Like Spears and PPR is fine in best ball, like 11th round. But other than that, I don't really see anything. Or Shamari DK late rounds. But what do you think?
Yeah, I don't want anyone on the Titans team. I don't want any of them for any reason. The team is terrible. The Texans, Woody Marks has the starting job 100% at this point. Nick Chubb is totally phased out. Oh, excuse me.
Bless it.
All right, I'm hitting the mute button. I think on time here. I'm nailing it.
Bless you again.
All right, I don't want to be sneezing in people's ears. All right,
good job with the mute button.
Thanks. Woody Marks has a stranglehold on the backfield. Not sure that that's an incredibly valuable backfield right this moment, but he is a starter. Nick Chubb. I mean, really, Nick Chubb should not have been on your roster for several weeks now. But if you still are holding on to Nick Chubb, you can let him go. Woody Marks looks decent. He's viable. I think Higgins is if you're desperate for a flex play, Nico Collins should be in your starting lineup. Schultz is a low end tight end one, low floor but high ceiling potential. I think this offense is decent, and their defense is going to keep them in games, and so they're going to be able to be competitive. I wouldn't want Davis Mills as my quarterback, but he's good enough to keep the other options. That's what I was concerned about. Was he going to sink Nico Collins? I did bench Nico Collins in the league I have him in, which was painful. But to start him over Keenan Allen did not feel good. I was concerned about Mills, and I think Mills proved that he's good enough to keep them viable.
Yeah, for sure. I did something I did not anticipate. Like Drake May 705. I think that's way too late for May. Even if he's going to miss one of these 3 games, just having them for the other 2, and I'm going to make sure my other 2 quarterbacks are strong, or at least one of them is strong. I'm going to take one at 808 probably. I because like if I sneak through into the playoffs, like I'm going to have May in the playoffs, and like I feel like there are not going to be too many teams that have May in the playoffs because he's only going to play 2 games. So just going to try the strategy out and see what happens. Like I said, I wasn't anticipating it, but Sandra asking, should I drop Tracy for Singletary standard or Gainwell, Tootin, Wilson? I think I don't know. I think I'd rather Tracy. I think he's the better running back, even though Singletary's getting the carries in the end zone or the red zone. But what do you think?
I mean, do I have to have one of these guys? I don't want to start any of those guys in a lineup, to be honest. I'm not excited about any of those guys. If you're desperate, I think I would take a shot at Singletary because I just think he's getting because of the goal line carries. Like Tracy wasn't in on a single red zone play. I don't understand that at all. But I don't know if Jacob's out, Wilson's the best play in this bunch. But as you said, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I would take a dart throw it on Tootin before I even want to play Tracy or Singletary, to be honest.
Yeah. It doesn't feel good to start any of them at all. Trade AJ Brown and Aaron Jones for Singletary and Rice. I get Rice side.
Rashee Rice?
Yeah, Rashee Rice.
I would do it.
You would? You would trade AJ Brown and Aaron Jones for Singletary?
AJ Brown's useless. Like what?
He had a bunch of targets this past week.
I mean, squeaky wheel gets right. The squeaky wheel gets the oil.
That's the grease. Yeah, he had 11 targets.
Yeah, and he had 49 yards and no touchdowns. It meant not like just. Yeah. I mean, they were peppering. They were going. It was painful to watch. I mean, how just they were. Hurts was locked on to AJ Brown, trying to get that mofo to shut his mouth. I'm sure we're gonna get more faux Bible verses this week on Instagram. Gosh, I'm starting to turn on him, man. I'm starting to turn on him. Shut your freaking pie hole, dude.
You don't sound too happy with your receiver, your number 1 receiver.
No. Just shut up, dude.
I got Caleb Williams, by the way, as my second quarterback. Doesn't seem great, but he's had some big fantasy games this year. 25, 30.
This past week, and we haven't gotten to that game yet, but he's had his best game as a pro, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, no.
No, last week. I think his past week was sort of just pure like NFL, not fantasy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's 25, 38, and 19, 29, 24, 18. He's okay. To have his the second quarterback there. Just wanted a safety for Drake May. Is Mason droppable? Jordan Mason.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like one of those upper tier handcuffs, right? Because if Jones goes down again and he has an injury history, then suddenly going to want the Mason. So like, I wouldn't drop him unless you needed to. You know.
Yeah, that's true. He scored a touchdown this week.
Yep.
But he got. I mean, Jones was clearly the number 1 guy there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely true. Okay, let's get to the next game, which is the Bears. Oh yeah, the Bears. Here we go. Bears 19, Vikings 17. Bears are up 16-3. JJ McCarthy looks so bad. I don't know why the Vikings took him in the number 10 overall. I remember watching him at Michigan and thinking like, oh, this guy's looks like a 3rd round pick to me. Maybe he goes 2nd because he's gonna win the championship. He was absolutely terrible. Like he just looks like a UDFA. Actually, Evan Daniel texted me. He's like, why was this guy drafted? I didn't think he was going to be drafted at all. Like the Vikings took him number 10, so it's pretty bad. What am I doing here, by the way? Judy, Downs, Shaheed, Tucker. I like Tucker, but I can get him later. Maybe
I like Shaheed or Tez Johnson in this mix here.
Tez Johnson still okay. All right.
Shaheed looked so fast. It looked faster than at any point of his career.
I'm gonna take Sheed. I think he could really get going here.
Yeah. Sam Darnold basically, I mean, didn't realize how fast he was. Like,
yeah,
he said he's never played with a court. He never realized he's like, you know, he couldn't overthrow the guy.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's going to get more comfortable in the offense. So, yeah, I'm a fan. Anyway, let's getting back to this game. Yeah, so anyway, Jefferson stats. Jefferson was so frustrated in this game. 5 for 61. Hawkinson 3 for 39. Addison, he scored a touchdown, but 2 for 20. These guys, you have to feel bad if you have any of them, because you know that you're not going to get your output here. Like, it's kind of crazy. Carson Wentz was playing better with a torn labrum than McCarthy is healthy. That's how bad he is. For the Bears, Williams, not a great fantasy performance, but you can talk about why you said you think that was his best game as a pro. Swift 21 of 90. Monangai, though, vultured a touchdown, so you have to be worried about that if you're a Swift owner. And then Adunze, he continues to go up and down. You just never know where he's going to go. Cole Kmet, out of nowhere, the leading receiver for the Bears. Like, where did this come from? Colson Loveland, though, 3 for 40, not bad. Luther Burden is playing ahead of Alameda Zacchaeus, finally. And DJ Moore has just completely gone into oblivion, 1 of 18. So what do you think about this game?
Yeah. Caleb Williams, he looked like he actually knew how to play football in the last 2 games, really. Like, he's played really good football. I think this is like a great example of like how fantasy stats so often don't like give us a real picture of what's happening. Because 2 weeks ago, he had his huge fantasy game. He had 38 points or 35 points, whatever it was. Yeah. And he actually played pretty bad in that game. Like, it was just like, it's like catch up and crazy. But gets the Bengals and they come back late. But this game, he actually played good, played smart. He made good throws, good reads. He audibled a couple times, like really like, oh, like you belong in the NFL. Like, okay, well done, Caleb Williams. And if he keeps playing like that, then he's going to have games where he puts up points. So having him as a fantasy quarterback is fine. But yeah, the problem is the passing game is so inconsistent from week to week. They don't see. I think this is Ben Johnson's like special. Like, he's going to play to the strengths of or go against whatever the defense is giving him. Mm-hmm. He's a really smart guy, and so they don't feel the need that they're going to force the ball to any one guy, which means there's no receiver that you feel confident to start at any given time. This past week, I think 40% of their snaps, they had 2 tight ends. I mean, 37% of their snaps were 12 personnel. So like, that's a lot of 2 tight ends, and they did a bunch of the 6 teams are doing this now. The 6 offensive linemen, that's getting really popular. The Bills are doing a lot. The Lions are doing it. The Eagles are doing it. The Rams are doing it. And so, yeah, they did it quite a bit in this game. So Cole Kmet ends up getting there. So it's like, would it surprise me next week if Romeo Odunze has 9 catches next week? Nope. Would it surprise me if he has 2 catches? Nope. Like, so it's like none of the receivers you feel confident about right now. You don't feel confident about any of the guys. If you have Odunze, you still feel like you have to start him because he could go off at any time. And but like I said, I've got DJ Moore in our league. I might have to start him as my flex because of my situation I'm in. And I sure as heck don't feel good about it. If you can help it, don't do that. Yeah, I think Swift is the only guy I feel confident starting right now on this team. Everyone else is sort of like if you're in desperation mode. On the Vikings side, to me, it's Justin Jefferson and nothing else. Even though Aaron Jones had a decent output in yardage, I could just foresee this team, this offense sucks with JJ McCarthy is terrible right now.
No.
Absolutely terrible. Doesn't belong in the NFL. I don't know. I mean, do they just continue to ride him? I mean, I don't know. It's just bad. I don't think they could win another game with him at quarterback with playing the way he is right now. Like, this is as bad as we've seen a quarterback play at any point in the last few years. Bryce Young was pretty bad last year, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, wait, we have one more guy to talk about later.
I mean, this is as bad as it's been. I mean, this is he's worse than Cam Ward right now. So yeah, I mean, it's Yeah, I don't. If you're a Vikings fan, and I lived in Minnesota for 6 years. I got a lot of Viking friends, a lot of friends that are Vikings fans, and whenever I talk to them, they're all like, "This is a disaster." Uh, I mean, um, I don't think they're going to win another game with him at quarterback, and so like I don't I don't know if the backup's any good. Who's this? Who just I don't even know who their back is. Is it is it Mullins? Nick Mullins their backup? I don't know who the backup is for the Vikings right now.
It's Max Brosmer, who is he was undrafted free agent. Is 24 years old. But yeah, that's that's who he is. Brosmer, Max Brosmer.
Yeah. So
New Hampshire quarterback.
yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say, man. If you own Jefferson, you're starting him because he's good enough to transcend. But no one else should be in your lineup, including I don't think Aaron Jones. I wouldn't feel unless you're desperate at running back or desperate at flex. I wouldn't feel good about Aaron Jones in my lineup right now because this offense is not going to sniff the red zone anytime in the near future.
Yeah, kind of makes me wonder how they beat Detroit. But then Detroit lost 3 offensive linemen in that game. It was a disaster. Like Jared Goff had no protection, so it's going to take one of those unique circumstances, or maybe they play a team that has an even worse quarterback. And I kind of interrupt you there for a second because there was a worse quarterback in Week 11, and so we'll get to him in a little bit after this one. So let's get to this is the final of the early games. Bills 44, Buccaneers 32. Josh Allen, just an amazing game here. He had 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns, but he also had 2 interceptions. Like, he was not playing well in the first half. He was just making some bad throws, some bad decisions. This Bills team looked like they were going to lose another game, and then they just took it to another level in the second half. They kind of showed like why they might be the class of the AFC. It could still be the Chiefs, could still be the Ravens, and some argue maybe Broncos or Colts, but the Bills right now, I think, would be my pick to go to the Super Bowl unless the Chiefs figure out what's going on here. And we'll talk about them later. And I think it's fixable. So anyway, Allen was incredible. James Cook scored a receiving touchdown. I don't know who Tyrell Shavers is, but he led the team in receiving. No Keon Coleman because he was late to practice on Friday. Second time he was late to practice this year, so they suspended him for 1 game. We'll see if he comes back next week. For Tampa, Ibuka had some early catches, but didn't really do anything late. It was all Sean Tucker against this horrible Buffalo run defense, which I also think is fixable. If like Matt Milano gets healthy, I think that's really the key. If he gets healthy, then the Bills are going to be better against the run. But right now, they can't stop the run at all. So, any thoughts on this game?
I said the Chiefs earlier. I take it back. I think it's the Bills. If you were going to bet on a team that come out of the AFC right now, if I had to bet on a Super Bowl matchup, it would be Rams Bills. Actually, I think those are the 2 teams that I'd be most confident in. I'm an Eagles fan, obviously. I think the Eagles are right there. The Eagles have the advantage in that the Rams might have to come to Philly for the NFC title game, and that would be this. But yeah, unless the Chiefs change things around, I think the Bills are the class of the AFC. Josh Allen was just a man among boys in this game. I mean, he was unreal. But both with his arm and his legs. The offensive line played mostly good in this game, but you just realize he's got nothing around him in terms of talent. Like he's got like no great passing options. There's just a bunch of mediocre dudes. And so, but he's in a matter. And so from a fantasy perspective, like I want Josh Allen, I want James Cook. I don't want anyone else on this team. Like, cause unless you can, you might have to, if you're desperate, put Shakir in, but if you can help it, avoid it. The Buccaneers, I think the Buccaneers are starting to show themselves as being Fugazi. Like, I think they're starting, like, they don't always play smart. Baker Mayfield just made some dumb decisions down the stretch. They had a chance to win this game, and they kind of squandered it in the fourth quarter. They had chances to kind of tie the game or kind of get back in. So, yeah, from a fantasy perspective, Ibuka's still in your starting lineup. Baker Mayfield's a low end wide receiver, quarterback 1 if you need him. Obviously you're starting him. But do I trust any of the receiving options right now, other than Ibuka for the Buccaneers? I don't think so.
No.
Do I trust any of these running backs? Do I trust Tucker to do it again? Like, probably not. Like, if he does it a second game, then yeah, I'll trust it. But like, I don't know. I don't know that I want any of those guys in my lineup right now if I can help it.
Yeah, like Bucky Irving might come back too at some point too. So like you have to worry about that if you have Tucker. So if your trade deadline is still available, and some people are asking about trades, so I assume that could be the case for someone. If you have Tucker, I think he could trade sell him high just in case Irving comes back. So there's that. I just took my first tight end, by the way, Dalton Schultz, 1208. Still need a third quarterback, and I still need another 2 tight ends. But receiver is looking pretty grim here. Like, do I take Matt Collins? Like, no, because Butte is going to come back. Like, there's really nothing here. Maybe Andre Yoshivas in a round or something. But I'm about to be up again. There's Hawkinson, Barner. What do you think about these guys? Njoku, maybe. Mason Taylor.
David, I mean, Zach Ertz is probably the best of the bunch, but you probably can wait on him.
Yeah, but he has his bye coming up too. So
that's true.
But look at Barner, like 17, 11, 10, 24, 12. Like this guy, like he's so like inconsistent, but like he just has these big games sometimes, you know.
Yeah, 0.3, 1.9, 1.7.
It's best ball though. Like, you know, I'm looking for, you know, the occasional 12, 15, you know. So I'm going to take him. I feel like I have a high floor with Schultz and I have a high ceiling with Barner. So I think that it's like a good combo here. Anyway, I mean, you can go with Hawkinson too, I guess, but McCarthy really hurts that. Anyway, let's get to the next game, which is here we go. Rams 21, Seahawks 19. Kind of crazy that the Rams didn't cover the spread in this game. Not that you know what the spread is. I'll explain that to you another time, Kenny. But Sam Darnold, 4 interceptions, yet the Rams didn't cover. They were up 14-3 and they were up 21-12, and the Seahawks got a backdoor touchdown. I think the big takeaway for Seattle, outside of GSN still being great, and also we talked about Barner, 10 for 70. Like this guy, sometimes I don't know what happens. Like sometimes he's so involved, sometimes he doesn't do anything. I guess it's like depends on how much he blocks. But the big takeaway for me is Walker finally after 11 weeks finally got an end zone carry. So he scored a touchdown, was much better than Charbonnet, and then George Halani randomly mixed in. For the Rams, Kyron Williams, good game. Stafford, not what we're accustomed to, but this is the number 1 defense in the NFL, Seattle. So you can understand some regression there. Puka Nacua 7 for 75. Adams only 1 catch of 8 targets. Like he and Stafford for some reason were just not on the same page in this game. A lot of miscommunications between the two. I don't quite understand what happened. Maybe it had something to do with the Adams' injury. But that was super weird to see something like that happen. So any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, the Adams situation is weird. I hate the question players' effort. I hate that. Like, I don't, whenever guys assume like he wasn't trying or he don't know, like, I don't know. Like, I'm always like, I'm hesitant to do that, but something is up with Adams the last few weeks. And maybe it's just an injury. There just seems like moments where like he's just checked out and like, I don't know. It's weird. In this game, it could have come back to bite them in this game, but it didn't, but it could have. If you have Adams, you're starting him because you just like you have to, but it does feel a little bit grimy. Nakua's great. If you're desperate for tight end, Higbee, you could throw in there. Kyron Williams scored a touchdown. Although if you're a Kyron Williams owner, you could have been on full tilt in this game because down in the red zone, they decided to give Blake Corum 3 straight red zone carries down inside the 2, and he couldn't get in. 3 straight carries, he didn't score. And on 4th down, they hand it to Kyron Williams, and he scores a touchdown. But if I were a Kyron Williams owner, I'd be full tilt right there, man. Oh my gosh, I'd be so pissed. What are you doing? Give it the ball anyway. Yeah, it was a surprise they didn't throw the ball at all down there. Maybe they just, for whatever reason, they just thought that was a better option. That was surprising to me. But anyway, I think we there's nothing really much to learn. You're starting all those guys, obviously. On the Seattle side, JSN is just a freaking man among boys. He's awesome. If you own Walker and Charbonnet, they're both, Walker's they're both flex plays. If you drafted Walker in a 3rd or 4th round, it's not exciting that he's a flex play at this point. But it is what it is. Yeah, this week it was a Walker game, but next week it'll be a Charbonnet game. I mean, that's what it's been all year. It's been back and forth. I don't own either one of them in any league, so I think I own Charbonnet and some best ball. That's about it though. I don't own them in any of our 4 leagues, so I haven't really been worried about that as much. I like Rashid Shaheed in this game. They gave him several targets, and it just seems like a matter of time before they connect. And so, in best ball, he's a phenomenal best ball type guy. If you're drafting, he's a great kind of DraftKings kind of guy. And if you have him, like I think you could do worse as a flex play. So yeah, I'd be willing to start him, knowing that you could get a goose egg, right? You could get 2 catches for 13 yards, but I think it's only a matter of time before he has 4 catches for 130 yards and a touchdown, right? Like I just think that's coming any day now. So Barner as a tight end, I know we talked about him already. I hate that kind of guy. I just hate that kind of player. I hate that. I don't want that guy on my team. If you're desperate at tight end, I guess you could do worse. But I just hate that guy. You don't know what he's going to get. And he's the 3rd read or 4th read on any play. He's never the number 1 read. They're never looking to him as a first. It's just sort of like everyone else is covered. They're kind of desperate. Let's throw it to him. I don't want that kind of player to rely on. So but yeah, the numbers are there, so I guess it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, well, like I said, I feel like he's much better in best ball than regular fantasy because he has those ceiling games, and that's kind of what you want. Rashid Shaheed is gonna, I think, eventually break out, as you were saying. He played well with Clint Kubiak last year in the Saints. So it's not like it's a new system that he has to learn, because you see that a lot from receivers who join new teams. They come on and it takes them a while, but he already knows the offense. So it's just a matter of clicking with Sam Darnold. So I feel like he's going to be able to do that. I guess I'm taking Malik Washington here. It's not great, but I need a 5th receiver. And just do any of these names stand out to you? I guess Shamar DK later. Tillman.
I guess Washington. Yeah, Washington's your best bet.
Yeah, he hasn't had his buy yet, but it's my 5th receiver, so it's not. And we're at the stage of the draft where that doesn't matter too much anymore. Okay, so Coleman, healthy scratch. Yeah, I mean, maybe he should show up to practice on time. Vikings couldn't do worse with the legendary Tim Boyle. Tim Boyle, one of the worst quarterbacks in NFL history. So that's a good call. Yeah, I think I'd rather McCarthy than Boyle, but I said I think. I'm not even sure. Hey, fellas, would you drop past Patriots defense for Browns defense? So would you rather have this week? Patriots defense against the Bengals with no Jamar Chase and very aging Joe Flacco, or the Browns defense versus the Raiders on a short week? What do you think? Both good options, I think.
Yeah, both good options. I think I still lean toward the Browns, but I think the Pats is a good defense.
Yeah, I actually think I'd rather have the Patriots. I feel like if Joe Flacco just threw a pick 6, I think that could happen again. Although Geno could do that too. So it's super close. So I mean, really, just go with your gut, because Kenny says Browns, I say Patriots. It's super close. Anyway, let's get to the next one, which is 49ers 21, Cardinals 22. Jacoby Brissett, the all-time single game leader in completions, 47 completions, which is how's this not like Manning or Brady or Burrow or someone else? It's Jacoby Brissett.
This would be a great at the bar one night. In 10 years, someone's at the bar, trivia question: who threw the most touchdown pass, or the most completions in a game?
Yep. Yeah, no one will get Brissett unless they really know the football. So yeah, you're right. And with those completions come great fantasy stats for receivers. Michael Wilson, 15 for 108, 185. Trey McBride, 10 for 115 and a touchdown. Greg Dortch, who I played in DraftKings, 6 for 66 and a touchdown. He was like 3,100. And then, a bunch of other guys had got receptions too. Purdy was the better quarterback, despite only 19 to 26. Threw 3 touchdowns, almost as many touchdowns as the completions. He looked really good in his first game back. McCaffrey, strong game once again, 3 touchdowns. Kittle scored twice. Jennings was solid. Pearsall, we talked about, didn't really play much. So, what are your thoughts on this game?
There's probably not a lot of lessons to be learned from this game, to be honest. The Niners looked functional. Purdy, I don't know if he's fully healthy, but he's back. And McCaffrey's awesome. You could start using your Niners players again and feeling confident about this receiving core as it starts to get healthy. I don't. We'll see what goes on with Pearsall. We'd like to believe he's going to be healthy and bounce back because we believe he's a great player. But obviously, we have to wait to see before we put him in a lineup. At least, I'm not going to put him in a lineup until I see it. So I don't know that there's a lot to learn necessarily from this game. I don't anticipate the Cardinals doing this again. Like, don't chase this. Like, I just next week Brissett will come back and have 136 yards. He'll be 19 for 39, with one touchdown and 2 interceptions next week. Trey McBride's in your lineup. I think you could do worse than Michael Wilson. Once upon a time, I thought Wilson was going to be a really great player in the NFL. Never really quite panned out. But I felt like every year I was drafting him in the last round of our league as like my upside guy, and it's like never pans out. But yeah, I don't think there's anyone on this team other than McBride I really want to go out of my way to have my fantasy lineup. I know the numbers look great, but I wouldn't want to chase it.
Yeah, I agree. You can't really chase this. So fluky. The boss asking Jaden Reed thoughts. He's back soon and should be Packers' best receiver. Yeah, I mean, we don't know if he's gonna be healthy when he returns, but I've been drafting him in the 19th round of these best ball drafts just in case. It's either him or there's another one. I forget who else. So it'll come up later. But yeah, I think you can definitely go there. I think he should be rostered just because he can return at any moment. But like I said, you don't know if he's going to be completely healthy. So what are your thoughts on this question?
Yeah, I don't know that he's going to be healthy. And even if he is fully healthy, I don't know that he's the best receiver. I think maybe Watson's the best receiver right now. But the way this team schemes and plays and the way Jordan Love reads the field, I don't think it matters. Like everyone kind of gets the ball. He's the kind of quarterback that likes to spread it around. The offense is kind of designed to do that. I've been saying this all year. I don't feel like from week to week who's going to be the guy. And for real football, that's a great thing. For fantasy, that sucks.
Yeah.
And if you add Jaden Reed, that's just another guy you're adding in the mix. I wouldn't go out of my way to get Jaden Reed, in standard fantasy football. If you're in best ball, you take a shot. I think it's great. But other than that, I don't think it's worth my energy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Unless you're like super deep league or something. Bretton Strange are going to take as my third tight end because he could really be back this week, and he was doing well with Lawrence. Look at these games. 4 for 59. Oh, sorry, 4 for 59, 3 for 17, not great, but 6 for 61, 6 for 45. And that's like 3 games out of 4 full ones that he had a 9.9 or more. So I like that as my third tight end here. Okay, let's I think we had another question. Has McCaffrey ever had a questionable designation this year? I'm amazed. Yeah, no, he has not. And some people are joking that he kind of sold his soul and like he sacrificed the rest of his teams to stay healthy. It's just crazy, isn't it? He has chronic Achilles tendonitis in both legs, and yet he has not had an injury designation, which is so wild. That's crazy.
He's been awesome this year.
He has, yep. And those Grendo picks did not pan out, unfortunately.
I mean, it's like I don't own McCaffrey anywhere for that for the reason it's anytime I had a chance to draft him, I've seen the history of this guy. And just happens this is the year. Like, hey man, anyone who took the risk on him, like you got great value. Good on you.
Yep. I think I ended up with like 4% McCaffrey in my best ball just because I wanted to see what a team would look like, or if like he fell to the second round, that's when I would take him. But not often though. I was just like, okay, let me see what a McCaffrey team's like, But other than that, I didn't really go out of my way to get him. Malik Neighbors just went. By the way, these people are an auto. Again, drafting at night is the best. You get the best teams. Look at Team 12, by the way. Look at his quarterbacks. He took 5 quarterbacks. His quarterbacks are Justin Herbert, who hasn't had his bye yet. Joe Flacco, who's going to get benched soon for Burrow, we think. Bryce Young, who has not had his bye yet. Tyrod Taylor, who could get rebenched for Fields at any moment. And Tua Tagovailoa, who hasn't had his bye yet. So what is this guy doing? He is.
Although I will say Tua in the 16th round might be his best value pick.
Yeah, no, that's actually a decent pick. Yeah, I agree. But like what is the rest of this team even? I don't know. I mean, he started well with Cook and Williams, Olave, although Olave, McMillan. Though McMillan hasn't had his bye yet. Neither there's Waddle. So this does not look like a team that's going to advance to the playoffs. Sorry, what's your name? Sorry, Scales 9000. Thank you for paying the rake on this league. I just want to see if he takes a sixth quarterback. So, he took Dawson Knox. I don't think he's going to take a sixth quarterback, but you could always surprise us. Anyway, we'll get back to that in a second. So we have Broncos 22, Chiefs 19. I talked about like how the Chiefs was fixable, and it's super easy. How about like Patrick Mahomes' run? You know, when they were winning games and they started 0-2 and then they went 5-1 in their next 6, Mahomes is running a lot. Like you'd have like games where he'd run for like 8 times, 9 times. He's only run 1 time against the Bills and 1 time against the Broncos. Like what is going on with him? Did he like forget? Does he have the undisclosed injury? I don't know. But like in this game, it was just Kelsey doing stuff. Rice had 6 for only 38. The bottom line is Mahomes needs to run, and that's how they won, and he just stopped doing it. So anyway, that's my recommendation for Mahomes and Reed if they happen to be listening. For the Broncos, Bo Nix had it once again, strong performance in the fourth quarter. He just for some reason he can't do anything in the first 3 quarters, and he gets clutched in the fourth quarter, which I guess is better than the opposite, which was Jimmy Garoppolo. RJ Harvey, here's the thing, like he started. But 11 carries to 6 is not really what you're looking for. And I just don't think he's that good. You mentioned it too, that you didn't think that he was that good. I was like on various shows during the summer, like for fantasy, and people asking me like, "Oh, do you like RJ Harvey? Do you like RJ Harvey?" It's kind of like a drug. They're like, "Hey, you're into this?" I'm like, not really. I just don't think he's that good. And like people were shocked, but I really, it's not a fan. So what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I don't think he's good at that situation.
Yeah.
So I don't want any of the running backs of this team. I love Cortland Sutton, but he has weirdly become the second or third option in this passing game.
Mm-hmm.
Bryant is regularly being looked at as often or more often. And oddly enough, this Franklin kid is the number 1 receiver in Denver, which it's odd to say, but I have him in 1 league. I was just sort of desperate a couple weeks ago. So I kind of like lucked into picking him up because I was like injuries and, I've got like, I had Tyreek Hill in that league. I had Terry McLaurin in that league. And so it's a league where just not so good, not a good league for my receiver position. And so, I picked up Franklin and I'm starting him, which is weird. But he is the best receiver on that team. And he's more often than not the number 1 read. He's the guy Nix is looking toward. They have good rapport. So I think, if Bo Nix is your quarterback, I think he's a low end quarterback 1 most weeks, with some upside. And Franklin is worthy of a start most weeks too. Everyone else I wouldn't want to look at. Sutton, I'm probably benching Sutton until I see something different. Which I can't believe I'm saying that because I love Cortland Sutton. On the other side, the Chiefs, Rashee Rice didn't have a great game, but you're still starting him. He's awesome. Don't be afraid of him. Kelsey, if you have him, you're still starting him. I don't think Kareem Hunt, if you're desperate for running back, sure, but I don't think there's anyone else in this team. If you have Mahomes, obviously you're starting him, but I don't think I want to start any of the running backs. I don't trust them. And I don't think I want any of the other receivers. Like, the ball's kind of a mess. Xavier Worthy's kind of a mess right now. The Chiefs offense kind of looks just kind of inconsistent. And so I'm just not sure I want any of these pieces of the passing game. It's Rice, it's Kelsey, it's Mahomes, and I don't think I want anything else.
Yeah, we definitely agree there. Let's get to the next game, which is I can't wait to talk about this one. Ravens 23, Browns 16. I first of all I have to bet. Like I bet the Browns against the Jets a week ago in week 10. And in that game, the Jets scored 14 points on special teams. So 2 kickoff returns, 1 punt, 1 kickoff. So not only did I bet the Browns, I bet the Jets team total under 19.5. and I lost because of the 2 kickoff returns. So this week I fade the Browns, and they get 13 points off kickoff off special teams and defense. So I'm like, can I get something my way, like variance wise? I was so tilted, like I was just so frustrated. If I had the Ravens right, I would have had a winning week, just barely, but still. I don't know. It's just so annoying. But anyway, like before we get to the fun stuff, Lamar Jackson does not look healthy. He was on the injury report with a knee. He had a bad game. One of the interceptions not his fault because it was tipped in the air after Mitchell dropped it. But he's not running either. Four scrambles. I just think the knee issue is something to worry about in the short term. Although Derrick Henry is awesome. He's so much better when when Jackson is on the field. Zay Flowers once again led the team in receiving. Mark Andrews had a funny touchdown. He ran like the tush push, and then suddenly
push.
Yeah, everything just opened up for him, and he just ran for a 35-yard rushing touchdown. But then we get to the Browns, and so Gabriel was doing his usual dinking, dunking, like nothing great, looking like a QB2 at best. And then he gets concussed, and the entire time, even though he's 7 of 10, which is like not bad, the entire time the Browns fans are booing him. Like everything Gabriel does, he just gets booed because the fans want to see Shedeur Sanders. And so Shedeur Sanders comes in, and he goes 4 of 16 for 47 yards and interception. And as this is happening, Josina Anderson, who's the former DEI hire of ESPN, she just goes. I don't know if you saw her Twitter escapades. I don't have it here because she blocked me, but she went on a huge rant about how Shedeur Sanders is actually playing well, and she said something like he didn't even get a first team snap in practice, and I'm like, no backups do. It just doesn't happen that way. So she's like, look at this great completion to Judy, and it was like a 1-yard pass. I first thought she was trolling, but then she blocked me for criticizing her, and so I'm like, wow, this is actually real. So someone you guys know, he's been on the show before. He actually texted me saying, "Is Josina sleeping with Dion?" And I'm like, I just think she's on Dion's payroll. Because we know he was paying Mel Kiper allegedly. I don't know what you have to say about Shedeur Sanders. I think you mentioned McCarthy as being the worst quarterback. I think this might be the worst quarterback we've ever seen in our life. We're just saying a lot because we've seen Tim Boyle. Tell me what you think about this game.
I give him a little bit of a pass, being this was the first game he's ever played. He comes in, he's without practice. Like, sure, this is not the situation that's helpful to, like, it's hard, not fair to judge him on this. Yeah, he played terrible. But yeah, I don't think it's fair to judge him on this. Dylan Gabriel was terrible as well. So the combination of quarterbacking from the Browns was pretty bad. If you own Junkins, he's worthy to be in your starting lineup. Everyone else in this league, in this team, like, you want no part of this if you can help it. Just really bad. Yeah. Sanders. I mean, he was a 5th round pick for a reason, and he looked like a 5th round pick. Mm-hmm. Like, he looked like he looked like he got drafted where he should have been drafted. So, yeah, I don't like, if he'd been drafted in the 1st round, we'd all be like, oh my gosh. But he wasn't. He was drafted in the 5th. And so he's a 5th round pick, and he played like a 5th round pick. What a surprise. So, and it looks like, obviously he may come back next week if he play, he gets a full week of practice and he plays next week, then we judge him differently then, right? This Browns defense though is like legit good, and like, you got to just be like, if you're a defensive player on the Browns, like, you got to just be like so annoyed, like, just because they're like, the defense is legitimately good. And crazy. The Ravens, you mentioned Jackson not being healthy. Like, I think you're probably right, but it's like, you still have to start him, right? Like, if you've drafted him in the 3rd round, like, it's one of the reasons why you shouldn't draft quarterbacks early. I think the psychology feels like you feel obligated to start him. It's like, and you have to start him, but it's like, you don't feel good about it. Derrick Henry did his typical Derrick Henry thing, right? It's like, he's sitting on, like, 60 yards, until the middle of the fourth quarter. Then he breaks one long. This is the story of Derrick Henry. Like, just wears you down, and then all of a sudden the defense forgets how to tackle, and he just gets going and he's gone for a touchdown. He's been doing the same game, and you gotta love it. That's his jam. Zay Flowers belongs in your starting lineup. Mark Andrews deserves to be started as a tight end. He's a low end tight end one at this point. Yeah, they basically were running a tush push with Mark Andrews and then faked it, and then he just did a little spin move and was off to the races, and he outran like several defenders. Like, it was pretty surprising. Like, whoa, okay, big, kind of like a tall, lanky white dude outrunning athletic black guys. Like, I just couldn't believe what was I watching? I mean, this was something out of 1945. I mean, is this I was trying to think of something racist to say, but I couldn't. Come on.
It's okay. Sure, it'll come back to you in a bit. All right, so this draft, this debacle of the draft, it's just with Tank Dell being taken, with so many weird picks here. I can't even. I don't know. I think I saw Malik Neighbors go, Tyreek Hill, I think. So this draft was a disaster. But yeah, Trey McBride 101. I guess that was a sign of things to come. But yeah, I mean, so you guys could look at this here. I just traded for Judkins. I traded Judkins for Baker. Any thoughts? I'm a Jets fan, so sad I came in now. So he got Baker, and so was it done to trade for Dart Insurance? I got Bucky coming back and Henderson. Okay, so I would not have done this, because like when Dart comes back, and Dart still has his bye week to come, so if he misses this game, you have Baker for 2 weeks, I guess, but I wouldn't have traded away Judkins though. Like, first of all, you don't know how you don't know if Bucky's going to be healthy, and also you don't know if Henderson's going to keep his full-time job with Stevenson back. Like, what if it's 50-50 split? So I would not have done this trade. Do you agree?
Yeah, sorry, brother. I wouldn't have done it either.
Yeah,
I don't know, unless you're desperate for quarterback, but I probably would not have.
Yeah. Okay. We have 2 more games.
Sorry.
So what'd you say?
So I hate to, it was already done. So
yeah. All right, we have 2 more games to discuss. We have Eagles 16, Lions 9. This is another classic Jared Goff in windy conditions against a team that gets to the quarterback. He just folds like a cheap suit here. Like, it's every single time. He's great in those favorable conditions indoors when he's playing against a mediocre or worse defense. But as soon as he goes against a great defense, it's just done. But we have some positives here for Detroit. Jahmyr Gibbs seems like Dan Campbell, ever since he took over for Johnny Morton calling the plays, he just wants to get the ball way more to Gibbs rather than Montgomery, and we saw it here. Gibbs had 12 carries and 5 catches, so 17 targets, 17 touches in total. Montgomery 6 carries, 1 catch, so 7. So it's quite the disparity, 17-7, which normally it would be even. But yeah, Gibbs, I don't know if this is going to be a thing that's kind of wonky, from week to week, but like for 2 weeks now, we've seen more Gibbs than Montgomery. And the other difference is that Jameson Williams, like, it seems like Dan Campbell's scheming him open more so than not. 4 for 88 and a touchdown. So 2 weeks in a row, Jameson Williams has been awesome. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown, a disappointing 2 for 42, but he had 12 targets, so I wouldn't be too concerned about that. And then for the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, his scrambling. Detroit has not done well against scrambling quarterbacks, and Hurts had those opportunities to run. Barkley, not a great 26 of 83, but still, like, he pushed 100 yards, like not great yards per carry, but not like the worst either. And AJ Brown, we talked about him before. Devontae Smith, only 1 of 8. That was a disappointment. I expect him to bounce back. But I think the takeaway here for the Eagles is that Lane Johnson got hurt, and he's gonna be out for like 4 to 6 weeks. So I would expect a decline in production for the team until he comes back. So what do you think about this game? I think you're on mute. You're on mute.
I muted myself. There we go. This game is pretty. I mean, the Eagles we know what they are at this point. AJ Brown Got just peppered with targets, but still didn't amount to anything. I mean, if you guys are in BPR, it looks okay. Yeah, I don't know that this, it's not exciting. Yeah, if you have Barkley, you're starting him. If you have Hurts because you drafted him, I guess you have to because there's still tush push touchdowns there to be had. But if you're a Barkley owner, it's got to be a little bit tilting that they called back his touchdown and then Hurts gets it. Yeah, I don't. I'm an Eagles fan. I don't know what to do about this. Although without Lane Johnson, they've missed Lane Johnson this earlier this year. He's missed some plays. He missed some games last year. Fred Johnson played. Their offense has actually still been decent without him. Obviously, he's in my opinion, he's the best player. He's been the best player for the bulk of the last 12 or 13 years. I mean, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 2 wins. You could have made Lane Johnson the MVP of the Super Bowls. That's how good he's been. So yeah, certainly. But they've been okay. I expect them to be able to weather the storm. But this team, they are what they are. They win gritty. They're kind of ugly. Hurts just sees the field great sometimes. He's terrible other times. So I don't know what to make of it. If I own AJ Brown, I only own AJ Brown in one league, and I only own Devontae Smith in one league. In our league, I own Devontae Smith. I would not feel good about putting either one of them in the starting lineup at this point. That's where I'm at with either one of them. If for most people, you probably have to. You probably don't have a lot of options, but this next week, my flex options are going to be Breece Hall, DJ Moore, or Devontae Smith. Like not exactly a stellar, excitement. So probably going to have to go with Moore or Smith, right? I don't know. Maybe I go with Hall. I don't know what to do in that situation yet. Yeah. So it's just I think the Eagles. I think like they have a legit chance going to the Super Bowl, and yet they're like this is like the ugliest team, the ugliest good team out there. Like they're just the one thing that Hurts doesn't do that doesn't matter for fantasy. He doesn't turn the ball over. The Eagles have 3 turnovers this whole year. I think. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's just unreal to consider. I think it was 3 turnovers the whole year. They're on pace to have the fewest turnovers in NFL history. Like it's just a remarkable thing. And the Eagles are 42-2 under Nick Sirianni when they win the turnover battle. I mean, I guess lots of teams. I mean, that's just good, right? 42-2. Like you win the turnover battle, you're not going to. So it's like, I don't think they're going to change it. I've had people ask me, like, when do you think AJ Brown's going to turn it around? Like, if they didn't turn it around in this game, I mean, I guess next week against the Cowboys might be the time to maybe they turn it around next week against the Cowboys. But I don't know. I wouldn't be excited about that. On the other side, Jahmyr Gibbs is awesome. Obviously, you're starting him. I still like David Montgomery. I'm still willing to start him. But one more game like this, then I might rethink that. James Williams is awesome, but you just like, some weeks he's great, some weeks he's not. Amon-Ra St. Brown was totally taken out of this game, but you would still start him most weeks, obviously. Yeah, I think. I think we know. I don't think there's anything to learn from this game. I think we know what it is, and I don't think Detroit's that good. Like, I do not anticipate Detroit making a deep playoff run.
I don't either. They're currently not in position to make the playoffs. And luckily for them, they have the Giants this week. But after that, they have to play the Packers. So going to be pretty tough there. Why change if you're winning? Do you want to answer that?
I mean, that's a great question, right? I mean, it's if it's working, then you don't. However, I don't think. I mean, you would say the way they're playing, you would say, well, they can't keep winning. Like eventually, it's going to bite them in the butt. I think at some point when you're in the playoffs, but maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll play at home in the NFC title game, and that'll be enough. And if the Rams come to town and it's 13 degrees and snowy, and Stafford's aging back acts up again, and maybe at the end of the day, maybe this is good enough to make it to the Super Bowl, because this Eagles defense is as good as it gets. This is, just the last 2 games they have played unbelievable. They have no weakness on defense. Their linebacker play is fantastic. Their edge they're starting to get pressure. They're getting healthy. Yeah, their cornerbacks are awesome. Amon-Ra St. Brown just had the lowest catch rate of his career. I mean, he only caught 16% of the targets at one time, I think it was. It was his catch rate, someone said to me. It's the lowest of his career. Yeah, I just think the defense is playing awesome, and if they don't turn the ball over, they're going to win most games. So it's a good question. You're right. Why would you change it? Regardless of what, Bible versus AJ Brown is posting on Instagram.
Oh man. All right. Well, we'll see. I kind of agree with you that I don't think things will change, but I think you should always evolve. Like, you should always strive to get better. Like, if you don't want to be complacent and allow teams to catch up for you. It feels like you should always innovate, even if you're at the top. All right. Last game, Cowboys 33, Raiders 16. Cowboys started off slowly. No Pickens or Lamb on the first drive. I don't even know if we had got an explanation for that. Maybe we didn't. I missed it, but yeah,
they were suspended apparently for like practice activities this week.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'm sure they learned their lesson. Prescott, great game here. And I love the Lisa Salters question afterwards. She's like, you guys struggled before the bye and you were so explosive tonight. What changed? And I'm like, they play the Raiders defense. Like, maybe that is the reason.
That's right.
They come on, man. Anyway, yeah, everyone on Dallas did well. We by the way, we hit our same game parlay in this game. We had Pickens over 62.5 receiving yards. That hit easily. That hit in the first half. We had Ashton Genty over 2.5 receptions. And that went way over as well, 6. We had Michael Mayer. This barely got there. We had Michael Mayer over 2.5 receptions. He got the 3. And then the final piece we needed was Tyler Lockett over 26.5, or I think it was 28.5 receiving yards. So he got the 33. So cool. It was like it paid out almost 10-1. Our singing parlay here. So yeah, well, we have one on the Thursday night games and the Monday night games. So just check out walterfootball.com for that. Anyway, the Raiders. Once again, underwhelming overall. Offensively, Geno Smith threw a bad interception. We always remember Mina Kimes said he was the top 10 quarterback, and that left us scratching our heads when she said it. Brock Bowers, 7 for 72, solid as always. Trey Tucker, who I don't mind a best ball, and I think I took him in this draft, but he went for 4 for 47 and a touchdown. He's like the de facto number 1 receiver, even though he's not that good. So he's going to produce, here and there. So he's not bad. And we once again saw Jake Besh and Dante Thornton on the field, and neither really did anything outside of Besh getting 1 catch for 19 yards. So they drafted these 2 receivers who look promising, at least, especially Thornton, who's doing great in training camp, and he has done absolutely nothing. I actually think some of that is on Chip Kelly, because it seems like he's only using him as like a Dante Stallworth go receiver, whereas I feel like Thornton could do a lot more than that, which I don't know. But anyway, this Raider team is just broken. So what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, this Raiders team is terrible. You don't want any of these guys in your starting lineup, with the exception of Bowers. You don't want to be betting on these teams. You don't want to be investing in these teams. Like, you don't even like even watching them play is like staring at the sun. Like, it's bad for you. It's bad for your eyes. This team is terrible. There's not much to say about that. The Dallas Cowboys, they actually looked decent, but you're right. It's like, is it just the Raiders' defense was that bad, or is it did they figure out some things? Javonte Williams looked good. He's in your starting lineup. Pickens and Lamb, they're in your starting lineup. Jake Ferguson scored a touchdown. He kind of fell into the end zone by accident. It's kind of fugazi. Like, I don't know. Like, if you're desperate for tight end, I guess Ferguson's fine, but I wouldn't go out of my way for him. So you can kind of don't chase that touchdown. It's Pickens, it's Lamb, it's Williams, it's Prescott, nothing else. And then they played Philly next week. It's the Eagles at Dallas, which is always a tough game. I don't care what the records are. These teams know each other. They hate each other. That week 1 matchup was close. And we'll see how it goes. The Eagles, I don't know what the spread in that game is. I don't know what a spread is. No, I don't know what the point spread is on that game, but I don't care what it is. It wouldn't surprise me if the Eagles lost, in Dallas. So, I don't think there's a lot to learn from this other than, Yeah, I think start your Cowboys and start teams going against the Cowboys because their defense is still bad.
Yeah, better with Quinn Williams and Logan Wilson, but still not good. What do you think the spread, this hypothetical spread that you don't know, what do you think it is? If you had a guess,
What is a spread? I don't know what this thing
as I was
is.
saying, you don't know what a spread is, but if you had to like guess a number associated with this word, what would you guess?
It's got to be Eagles minus. The Eagles are going to be overrated here. The Eagles are going to be overrated. Eagles -4.
Oh, you're so close. Eagles -3.5.
Yeah.
Seems like you know about this word, but then again, maybe you don't. So,
if I were a betting man, which I'm not, but if you put a gun on my head and maybe bet $1, I would take the Cowboys in this game. I'd take the +3.5.
I'm with you on that one. It's almost like we have our picking podcast once again.
I'd take the Cowboys, and I'd take them for more than a unit. I think.
Okay.
I think it's like a 2-unit type. I mean, I think they're the Eagles are the better team overall, top to bottom, and the Eagles' defense is awesome. And the Cowboys' defense is bad. So maybe this will be a get right game for the Eagles passing game, and they go out and they, it's a track meet, and they just, who cares? But yeah, maybe I'm a pessimistic Eagles fan. Maybe that's what it is. But I think it would not surprise me if this is a close game. It comes down to the wire, and the Cowboys win it on a last minute field goal or something like that.
Yeah, I think no Lane Johnson hurts. Dallas does not have good defense, but they can at least get to the quarterback. So that Johnson's absence could hurt in that regard. Jake says I think Cowboys win by 7 and wake you up. I think the Eagles are due to lose the game. It's not going to hurt them too much here, but I think they could. Raiders Dolphins neutral field. What's your spread, Walt? Since Kenny doesn't know what a spread is. Well, what the spread is versus what I think it should be. Right. I would say I think the Dolphins would be favored because I think the public views them as a better team. So I think on a neutral field, I think the Dolphins would be like -2 or something, -1.5, -2, maybe -2.5 at most. It wouldn't be a full 3. And then what I think it should be, I think would be like Raiders -1. Just because the Dolphins can't block Max Crosby. It would get a lot of pressure there. Miami can't do anything defensively. Like they have nothing going on defensively. This team almost lost to Washington. Let's not forget that. They should have. If the guy doesn't muff a punt, they lose to Washington. So again, this is not a good team at all. You could point to the Bills win. I could point to the Raiders, having a decent game here and there. They beat the Patriots in week 1. So some bad teams sometimes play well. And good teams sometimes play poorly. But both these teams are pretty bad. The Genti might now be bad depending on the pass plus run line. The team is so bad. It's the only weapon. Yeah, I mean, like I said before, he's catching passes now, so that's definitely helpful if you have him in PPR. Parlays paid for my health insurance every year. Well, I mean, that's awesome. Health insurance is super expensive these days. Thanks, Obama. When do you usually post your parlays and props? Around 2 p.m. Eastern of the day of the games. Sometimes a little bit later, but usually around 2:30 at the late, usually at the latest. But if I have something going on, like if I have to drive my kids somewhere, then it might be later. But I always tweet it out. So you can follow me at Walter Football on X. So yeah, every Thursday game, every Monday game, we do it. Sometimes Sunday night games, but they can be tricky just because usually there's like injuries attached to them, and like I can't make a parlay during when the other games are on. It's just too busy. So if there are no injury concerns, then I will sometimes have a single game parlay for Sunday night, but I will always have one for Thursday and Monday night games. Okay, I think that's about it for today's show. So thank you guys for watching and commenting. Really appreciate it. Thank you, especially to Kevin Kovac for the $5 super chat.
Kevin,
thanks as always. Man. Yeah, thanks as always, Kevin. Really appreciate it. But yeah, you guys can please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit walterfootball.com for tons of football content every single day, and make sure you visit thecapIsFake.com Kenny has not one but two new articles.
Two.
Like I said, I read this one. It's not about the cap; it's all about the cash flow. Really cool stuff in there. Very insightful as always with Kenny, and it just like really just some examples of how the cap is fake, as the website's called. And then I have not. Kenny posted this 2 hours ago, so I guess 4 hours now that we had a 2-hour video. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one, the rise and fall of Jimmy Johnson NFL draft trade chart. So you want to talk about this or anything else?
Yeah, feel free to check it out. The cap is fake. The article I posted a couple days ago, it's about the cap, the cash flow. People have said to me, listen, like if the cap doesn't stop people from signing, what does? I'm like, oh, it's ownership's willingness to spend cash. And each team has a different approach to how they spend cash, how they manage their cash flow. So I figured I read an article about that, kind of explaining here's the different approaches, and I can give some examples there. So hopefully that's insightful just to help people continue to understand how the cap works and how it is fake. So if you believe the cap is real, check it out. And then the Jimmy Johnson trade chart. I just personally was interested in how the trade chart came about. So I did a bunch of research and reading, and it really was remarkable, like how much it impacted. Like it's kind of almost impossible to like overstate. It's one of the most impactful things that has happened in modern football. Like the way teams think about trading draft picks was completely like revolutionized by Jimmy Johnson and the trade when he invented the trade chart in the late 80s. And like it's kind of just like an interesting thing. Like, yeah, there are not many coaches that have like put a stamp on the league the way that Jimmy Johnson did. And so, he was great in college. He was great with the Cowboys, much to my chagrin as an Eagles fan. He basically invented the cover 4 defense, which was awesome in the 90s. No one uses it anymore. But, I get, but he was, I think that people don't realize how innovative he was in terms of like front office management. And so the Jimmy Johnson trade chart has like teams don't really use it anymore the way they used to. But like there's still residual impact. So if you're interested, also, fun fact I learned, if I were to tell you that 81 players were drafted in the very first NFL draft in 1936, 81 players were drafted in 1936, how many of those guys actually played in the NFL? You can take a guess of what number of 81 players actually played in the NFL?
Wow. Geez. Well, I mean, I didn't do a mock draft that year, so I'm not sure who was drafted even. I mean, based on what you're saying, I assume the number is low. Let's go with a low number. How many you say? 80, 81, you said?
81 players are drafted in the first NFL draft.
All right. Well, let's go with a quarter of those players. So let's say 20.
Whoa, that's a pretty good guess. It's 27.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
Including the number 1 overall pick, Jay Berwanger.
Oh, man. I was going to have him second in my mock if I did one. Sorry.
Jay Berwanger was the number 1 pick of the Philadelphia Eagles in 1936. And he decided to not play in the NFL. He instead pursued a career as a rubber salesman in Chicago. Because being a rubber salesman in Chicago was more lucrative than playing in the NFL in the mid-1930s. So how about that for a random stat for you?
That's pretty incredible. A rubber salesman. Can you imagine? Imagine doing that these days. Like, you have was like Ty Simpson's going to be the top pick in the draft, and he goes, "I'm going to sell rubber."
yeah. Cam Ward goes like, Cam Ward's like, I don't want to play for the Titans. I'm going to go, go sell tires at Pep Boys.
Kind of rubber salesman reminds me of Rubber Nipples from Ren and Stimpy, which is, I don't know if you ever watched that. That was like that was one of the most disturbing episodes of like a cartoon I've ever seen. It was so dark. Like I'm watching this as a 9-year-old, and I watched it later as an adult. I'm like, oh my god, what was I watching? Like this is disgusting. But anyway, that's what that reminded me of. Is the rubber nipple salesman from Ren and Stimpy. But so that's pretty incredible. So yeah, we'll have to get Charlie to get some info on that draft. Anyway, yeah, guys. So yeah, check out thecapsfake.com and walterfootball.com, and we'll be back tomorrow with Andy Isco and then Evan Daniel on Thursday and Tom on Friday. I don't know what our Thanksgiving week schedule is. I'll be around to do every game every night. Although my high school reunion's on Friday night, so I might be coaxed into going by some of my friends. Kenny is not going. Come on, Kenny. You can stick around. Go, right? Just kidding. You have to drive back to your home, but
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, guys. Thank you once again, and I hope you guys have a great night. And I will talk to you later.
You the man, Walt.
You the man. So is Jay.